So today we're talking about time management and productivity or productivity. I feel like it's productivity.
I think it's productivity.
You
Somebody
say
tell us which
potato?
is right. I guess it's both are right.
Yeah, I guess I product. Anyway, today we're talking about time management and productivity. How much stuff can you fit in one day and should you?
Mm.
Oh, you tell I've had
Oh,
coffee. So, Michelle, tell me about your experience. Like, do you have this amazing, intricate,
gosh, yes.
wonderful process that you can
So
share with us?
organized.
Will make us smarter, healthier. Oh, not I'm not sure I understand, Siri says.
Oh, did you? Oh, that's hilarious. Siri's listening. Oh, they're
I'm not
always
sure I
listening.
understand.
Um,
And what is your key to success?
productivity or productivity and time management are like, it's like that thing, that ever elusive thing I'm always trying to get better at. And I do feel like you get a little better over time, but I would not say this is a strong point for me. I kind of, my brain just, and it's like our brain, our ADHD, it's just you like, I get so distracted. Like, so I'll be like, oh, I'm going to audition for like the next, like, and my husband's always telling me, you should put in like from here to here, you audition, from here to here, you do da 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 da, like, but I don't feel like our world really does that. I feel like our industry, I don't know, like maybe that's just my own. I know there are people who are really disciplined and organized, and I am not that person, but I think it, like in this industry, if I'm doing something else, say I'm doing accounting and an audition comes in, I got to leave accounting and do the audition because it's like a time sensitive thing.
Right.
Or if a client needs something from you, or so I feel like, but he always says, well, why don't you just put this in and then adjust as you go? Like, this is the plan. But then of course you make allotments and you change it up. But like at least you have a plan. And that makes sense. I
It
think
makes sense on paper.
yeah.
And it's funny because I just did that yesterday. I was like, I need to get organized. Like my brain is fizzy and I can't like I get work done, but like you said, it's when this comes in, oh, okay, that's what's in front of me. That's what I'm gonna do right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A client needs a pickup. Okay, awesome. Let me do that, get it back to them because they need to get that to their client and I
Yeah.
can. So it's great on paper to have like, here's this that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to work on this, and then this is going to happen. But then you have all these distractions that come in. And so I was working on my calendar yesterday and I was like, I'm going to get organized and I'm going to block things out.
Mm.
So I started blocking everything out and I started writing the tasks and stuff like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then a kid shows up or, they wake up and they need food. Like
But
they need food
why
all the
why do you need
time.
food?
Go get your own food. Go cook your
What is
own
that
eggs.
about?
You're
Yeah.
9. You should be a chef by now.
So when you get distracted from so you help the client, you get distracted, do you go back to what you had originally thought you were going to be doing? Or I
Yeah, I'll
just
come
get
back to
distracted and
it.
then I go down another road. Yeah.
Right. Like you walk into another room and it's like, oh, the last one did not exist and now this one exists and here's all the things that I see that need done.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I struggle with that for sure. But looking at my calendar yesterday, I was like, I put everything in there and I'm like, I can just move stuff around. And I was watching the videos that say, here's how to do it. And if this happens, this with AI, this automatically moves this task into a new time slot.
Mm.
And I'm like, this ain't working. Like,
This ain't
I'm
working.
overwhelmed looking at all the things. And so for me, like, yes, having things on the calendar is good, but also blocking out times of the day. So, like, mornings is
Mm.
when my voice works best.
Yeah.
Mornings is when I get back to clients and record the things that I need to record. So it's almost more like time blocking,
Mhm. Mhm.
instead
Yeah.
of like from 9 to 10, I'm doing this project. And from
Right.
10 to 11, I do this project because
Yeah.
that doesn't happen. That's not real life.
Do you use like I'm really old school. I have a paper calendar. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's awesome.
I know a lot of people are like, what? But it's for me, it's easier than electronic calendar. I don't know why. I like to there's something about that pen and paper and seeing it on a paper, like, and I put like things I know I need to address if I have a session that's on there. Like I make sure it's like a star in front of it, like this is a live session. This is like it kind
Yeah.
of like I separate it like that. I said, and And Fridays are my accounting day. Like that's one thing I definitely kind of try to stay within is like, okay, every Friday, if I haven't invoiced somebody, I got to invoice them. Or and then I have to look at who still owes me money and like do like
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like re
Do you have
just
QuickBooks? Do you use QuickBooks at
no, I
all?
use an Excel spreadsheet. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
I know.
It's
I use an Excel
amazing.
spread I know. I use an Excel spreadsheet. If somebody pays me, I like make them bold and I say how they paid and and if there was any fees, if it was like, bank transfer or whatever, international. And yeah, I know that like a lot of people would cringe at my system. Again,
But
I
it
feel like
works.
yeah, I feel like you have to do what works for you. I have not
Yeah.
morphed over to a QuickBooks. I mean, someday maybe I will do that if somebody can like explain it to in a way that because I do see like the benefit of some people have shown me, "Hey, Michelle, you can do this, you can do that, you can invoice." Like I also create every invoice from scratch. Like, I mean, I have a
The
template
template.
I have a
Sure.
template and it has like if for my repeat customers, it has their name and everything all already in it. But then I just open it and then I redo it and then I save it as a new PDF. Like I
Yeah.
know there's a better way for that. And yet
Right. But
I'm
there's also a
resistant to
learning
change.
curve.
Yes, I'm
There's a
resistant
learning
to
curve
change.
attached to that, right. Oh,
Let's just
wow,
call it what
yeah.
it
I
is.
use
Yeah.
QuickBooks Online, and so it just
Wow.
easy to, like
Maybe we'll talk about that at some point
it
because
yeah, that
yeah.
that can be another show talking
Yes,
about
yes, 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 yes.
accounting, and I
Mhm.
have an accountant now, and she is incredible, like, she goes through and she organizes everything and puts it in
I do my
categories.
own
She's
taxes.
my favorite person.
I do my own taxes, Jess.
Yeah, I don't. My neighbor is
Well,
amazing with all the
it's
taxes, so
I'm not I'm not promoting this Michelle's way here. Like, listen to Jessica, not me.
but that's a great way, like, if you're starting out, like, all of these
Yeah.
have a lot of costs involved,
Mhm,
right? Like,
mhm.
QuickBooks used to be, like, only $30 a month or a
Yeah,
year, and now it's, like, only $600 a year. I don't know if it's
yeah.
600, but it felt like
It
I
costs,
started
right.
here, and
Mhm.
then they're like, "We're adding all these wonderful features for you. Now it's gonna be this much." And so
Yes.
that's with the productivity and time management. There's a lot of and this is another show is talking about artificial intelligence and how to
Mhm.
use that. But there's a lot of AI coming in to help us manage everything, but all of that comes at a cost as well.
Right,
So, going back to pen and paper is a great way to save all the money that you are making if you're getting starting out and
right.
that you see where things are going and how things are going, and then you can step up and automate it into a productivity time management tool, you
Yeah, I
know?
mean, if you're new, I mean, unless you just like love it, but like to spend money on QuickBooks and these sorts of or CRMs or
It
different things
adds
like
up.
if you're early on in your career, like you can do all this on a spreadsheet, a free spreadsheet, and you can do all
I
these
encourage
things.
that
Yeah.
for
Yes.
sure,
Yes.
yeah, I'm all about,
Yes.
like, debt-free living
Mhm.
and, like,
Yep.
that whole thing,
Yes.
but then also there's the productivity thing, so I do invest in, Evernote is probably my
Heard of
go-to,
that.
putting my brain into something,
I'm
I
writing that
think
one down. Evernote.
yeah, write down Evernote. The other thing which I realized I loved, but I already have Evernote, so it would be 2 redundant things, but I think it's called Open Mind.
In mind.
I wanna
Well,
double check.
whatever it is, we will put in the show notes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's Open
What do
Mind AI
these two
or
things
something.
do?
So, those are taking out ideas. So let's say let me go back. Evernote is a note-taking.
Mhm.
So Evernote, I was just looking this up yesterday because I was like, should I get Notion? There's like Notion AI and there's Evernote AI, and it helps you put all of your tasks and your schedule and everything, in one place. And I have lots of ideas, and so it's nice to just put everything in Evernote and then know it's there and it doesn't consume my brain space. So Notion and Evernote are really great. I think the Open Mind is like a web clipper. So, like, if you go through and you're like, "Oh, wow, I love this tutorial," or "I love this YouTube video," or "I love whatever on the internet," you can just hit this button that you install in Chrome or your browser, and it saves it
Versus
for later.
versus, remember you were teaching me how to do bookmarks.
This
Like,
would be
I'm
perfect
so
for you,
bad.
yeah.
Like, I think I told you this. I'll take the URL, I'll put it in an email draft and save it. I have like over 2,000 email drafts of things that I've probably from years ago that I'd never looked at again. But
Right.
this is where my brain is like
But it's
a
there in case
mess.
you need it.
Yeah.
Right, so this is just an easy way to just
Mm.
clip it, move
Does it
on, and
cost anything?
I think it does after you have, like,
Mm.
100 cards or something.
Okay.
So, I realized I could clip stuff, web clip stuff in Evernote, so I'm like, "I don't wanna pay for 2 different things
Mhm. Yeah, that are similar.
to do
Yeah.
that." Yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing I signed up for was Reclaim.ai. I think it's Reclaim, let me look. Reclaim.ai, and they're for teams, but they have a free version, and I have been able to use the free version, and it connects with my Google Calendar. I'm a Google girl.
Yeah.
So I use Gmail, and I have a task list, so I can write everything on my task list, and the tasks can automatically sync with my Google Calendar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that can be another deep dive into,
Yeah.
like, how
Well,
exactly
yeah,
I do that, but that is free other than, I pay for a Gmail account.
right.
But as far as
You pay for
productivity
a
tools,
Gmail account? You pay for a
um,
Gmail account.
well, not because it's my own domain,
Oh, okay. Got it.
right? So if I just had jessicalewis@gmail.com, that
Mhm.
would be free,
Okay.
but I have a Google Workspace.
Got it.
Keep changing the name. I think it's Google Workspace now.
So do you find yourself with all these tools you're using, do you find you're able to have productivity and time management? I feel like that's still elusive to me and I'm working on it. And
I do. I feel like because I'm getting we talked about this before, I'm getting tested for ADHD. So like I'm either like hyper focused on it, super like productivity and time management, like it's all organized. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming. What did I just create?
the irony is I help people sometimes like friends and family, but I've also been like asked to like be paid to do this, help people declutter. My home is very minimalist and
That's
I
awesome.
yeah, and I help people declutter. And yet my brain, it's like the teacher, if those who can't do teach, like I do, my home is organized, you know, but my brain and my like again, this is something my husband's always like, Michelle, you have things on sticky notes, you have like I have like 10 lists of my list of to do that are like different notebooks and they're all
Oh,
unorganized. And
right.
like
Yeah.
I again it's and he's like, just make one document online and like put everything you have to, whatever, not, work, not work, or make maybe two, maybe work and non-work, and like do. So
I
the
feel like
point,
that everything needs to be all in one.
yeah,
You can't
but
split home
I
and life.
am not someone who should be giving advice on this for sure, at all. Like I am learning from you, like and learning from I do try, I give myself better credit. I do better every year, but I need to
But you
work on
have a
this.
system. You have a
I do have
system
a
and it
system.
to be working, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And if you were to buy like QuickBooks, that would take $300 a year out of, well, plus all the transaction fees and all of that fun stuff. I mean, there's a balance of you do that yourself, so you're not paying out, but then at what
But
point
I'm wasting
could
a lot of my
you be,
time.
yeah, and your
Yeah,
time, I think,
yeah,
is the most valuable
yeah.
asset that you
No,
have.
yeah, and I'm at a point in my career where I should be investing in certain things like this, you know what I mean? And yet
Sure.
I
But
still
why
hold it
don't
all
you?
myself.
Because it's
It's because
overwhelming
of
to think
change.
of
It's
something new.
overwhelming to think of like, how am I gonna get all that on a QuickBook? How am I gonna transfer all of my clients' information, all of that into this whole new thing? That's like overwhelming to me. Yeah,
Yeah. And at some point, do you hire someone
to do
to just
that.
data
Yeah.
entry?
Right,
You
data
know,
entry is hard with my eyes, so with my
maybe
vision,
that's,
so
yeah, maybe
yeah,
that's why you haven't.
yeah, it
But I do
definitely
think taking time, like on your time management, like on your planning, set aside like an hour a week to think through your processes.
mm,
What's working, what's not
right,
working, where could I be better?
yeah.
Where am I wasting money? Where's my time
I
going?
agree, I do that for other people, like, I think about, like, in, like, the home, everything like, I have these skills in other areas in
Ah,
life, like, so, like, to look at my systems, like and also what's working for you, what's stealing time from you, what's adding time to you, what's
that's
giving to
fun.
your life, what's taking from your life, in general in life, like, what friends are, like, taking from your life and what friends are giving to your you know what I mean? Like, I'm very good at that, like, almost like I call it, like, carving a statue, like, carving away the things that aren't helpful to you, aren't serving you, all that stuff. Like, I'm really good at all that in, like, a human way. and in my home and in my life, but in work, I haven't carved
You need
away
a
what everything I need to carve
digital
away.
declutter.
I
You should
need to
make a
work on
course on that, digital decluttering.
that.
So
Yes. Oh my
because
god.
we're editors, right? Because we voiceover, you just naturally learn how to edit, right? So
Mhm.
it's like the
Take
TV show, the
away.
home edit,
Yep.
the home edit, maybe the
Yeah.
digital.
Yeah.
I wrote down some ideas, the different things. I mentioned Notion and Evernote.
Mhm.
I don't use this as much anymore, and I'm not sure why, but Trello.com is a really great tool. It's like what do they call it? A Kanban board. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it basically is like all these. You have your categories, and then there's all these cards underneath the categories, and it's great for project management. So you can
Okay.
have a card that starts here, and then you can move that card to the next thing, and then
Oh,
move
I
the card
feel like I've
to the next
heard something
thing.
about that. Yeah, because then it, like,
Yeah,
gives it this, "Okay, now we're in this, like, part of the project. Now we're at this stage of the project." Wasn't Mike talking about something like that with, like, his audiobooks?
I think he was, yes, and I think he did mention Trello, actually.
Did he? Yeah, I knew that
Yeah,
he mentioned something about that, so that's interesting.
yeah,
Everybody's individual and they work very specifically, so it's like, you need to try stuff out. A lot of things have free trials and
yeah,
see what works for your mind and your brain and your
absolutely.
workflow, and it doesn't mean something that works for somebody is gonna work for you, that's just it has to work with you, and so what is it like, what exercise do you do? The one that you actually would do, right? Like, if you don't like a certain exercise, but you love Zumba, like, do the one you're gonna do, you know what I mean? Like, do the one that
Yeah,
you'll actually do. Like, so that's true with these, right? Do the one that actually works in your life.
and sometimes it takes experimenting to find out what that is. Well, I think a lot
Absolutely.
of people don't start because they say, but maybe I won't like that, and it's a waste of money."
Right. You gotta try it to
No,
see.
you gotta try it, you gotta invest the time and money, and if it doesn't work, then edit that out and try something else.
Yes, yes.
Because something will come along that is going to work,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
gonna
and yeah,
come
exactly.
into this really cool they always talk about, like, the creative flow.
Mm,
The whole idea is, like, I don't want to be productive just to be productive, I want to get all of those things taken care of so then I can get into my creative flow
right.
and do the things that I'm really good at.
It's a process. It's a
Yeah.
process.
So it
Yeah.
just takes time
Yeah,
getting there,
and we all
so
have other things in our lives that we have to deal with, that don't have anything to do with this work, so
there's
we need to
always a distraction.
manage, yeah, it's like the distraction, so you gotta try to get and I that's definitely one of my goals this year is to try to get much more intentional and streamlined in my processes, so thank
Yeah.
you for those,
And that's an ongoing process too, I think.
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like the
you
last
carve it
5, 8
away as you
years
go.
I'm like, "What
Mhm,
is my purpose, and what is my
mhm,
mission, and why do I do what I do?" And I think we all know deep down, but putting it into words and translating that into our work
yeah.
is the journey part. Productivity, and time
Tell us which
management.
one is right, people.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something that works great for some of our listeners
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
it would be great to help other people.
Yeah. I'm gonna really
Yeah,
get better at this, and I'll get back to you on
you
that.
will. It's a journey.
Thanks for watching.